Yes, there's still the small matter of the championship playoff final to go, but shortly afterwards the World Cup 2018 kicks off in Russia in June. I've got to admit that FIFA's actions and fondness for brown paper envelopes has put mums off the once mecca of football a little bit. Still, there's Villans off to Russia, so as well as looking at them, we look at previous players that have participated in past World Cup tournaments. Aston Villa Players in World Cup 2018. After Villa's playoff final this coming weekend, all eyes will turn to the 2018 FIFA World Cup in Russia, and Villa interests will be represented by players from an unlikely duo of countries in Iceland and Australia. Birger Bjarnason is in the strange position of being a squad player for Villa, yet a starter and major part of the Icelandic international team. The team went on from its England-beating success in the Euros to top their qualifying group en route to Russia 2018. Embed from Getty Images. They have the distinction of being the smallest nation to ever qualify. They won 7 of their 10 games including all of their home games, so they will be confident despite being in one of the toughest groups, Group D, alongside Argentina, Croatia, and Nigeria. Their first group match will be against Argentina on the 16th of June. They play Nigeria on the 22nd of June, and their last group game is against Croatia on the 26th of June. Mjellneck also faces a tough World Cup group in Group C's offering of France, Denmark and Peru. But no team is perhaps as battle-hardened than the Aussies, who played more games than any other country to qualify. The Socceroos played 22 games to qualify for Russia 2018. They only lost twice in all their games, but because of draws they missed automatic qualification and had 4 tight playoff games. Embed from Getty Images. They will play their first match against France on the 16th of June. They play Denmark on the 21st and Peru on the 26th of June. Underdogs. Both Iceland and Australia are perhaps not expected to get out of the group stages, but they are the type of well-organized and determined underdogs that attract seasoned bettors, especially in the World Cup. Australia, for example, will take heart from how France folded in the 2010 World Cup, finishing bottom of their group with 1 point. While Iceland will fear no one, after their recent impressive European Championship campaign both in qualifying and the tournament itself. Both will be attractive underdogs in terms of causing potential upsets, and sportsbooks such as the ones found on this site have the latest betting odds to help punters make educated, informed picks on outright winners, the top goal scorer, amount of corners, etc. Aston Villa Players. In past World Cup tournaments there have been quite a few Aston Villa players in the World Cup over the years, but perhaps the most controversial debate around England squad selection and Villa Players dates back to 1982's England squad. Ron Greenwood's squad was, it has to be said, a tad on the conservative side, and the team's 2-0 draws against Spain and West Germany in the second round stage reflected that. It had been a great year for Aston Villa, who won the European Cup that year, but not so great for their players in terms of the World Cup. Despite being domestic champions the previous season and then conquering Europe, while Peterwith got the nod, there was no place for either Tony Morley or Dennis Mortimer. Younger players like Gary Shaw and Gordon Cowans, who would have both walked into the present-day England World Cup squad for Russia, were also left on the sidelines. Leaving controversy behind, let's look at the Aston Villa players who did take part in previous World Cup tournaments. Ray Houghton, Republic of Ireland, USA 1994. More than 20 years ago Ray Houghton scored one of the best goals in the 1994 World Cup, stunning the Italians. Fellow Aston Villa players Paul McGrath, Steve Staunton, and Andy Townsend were also on the pitch for that game, but the most replayed memory is the joy expressed by Houghton as he celebrated beating Gianluca Pagliuca, who later outed himself as a bit of a Villa fan. Peter with England, Spain 1982. In 1982, With became the first Villa player to be selected for an England World Cup squad. He didn't play in the tournament though. Steve Hodge, England, Mexico 1986, a 23-year-old Hodge played as a substitute for the first couple of England's matches. When he was promoted to the starting lineup for the game against Poland, he set up one of Gary Lineker's goals. England went on to win 3-0. Hodge was also the driving force in the second-round win over Paraguay and was also on the pitch for the quarter-final defeat to Argentina. It was Hodge who sliced the ball in the air which allowed Maradona's "Hand of God" goal. He was soon sold to Spurs. Alpay Özcan, Turkey, Japan, South Korea 2002. Before being hated by Villa fans, Özcan became the second Aston Villa player to make it to a World Cup semi-final. His 2002 appearance started badly with a red card in the opening game against Brazil. He returned in the knockout stages and played well up to the semi-finals when Ronaldo scored and sent Brazil to the finals. Paul McGrath, Republic of Ireland, Italy 1990. Paul McGrath was one of the great players when the Republic of Ireland reached the quarter-finals in Italy 1990. Along with fellow player Tony Cascarino, who scored in the penalty shootout that put Ireland through to the semi-finals. Ireland conceded just 3 goals in 5 games and McGrath proved an immovable object in the games against England, Egypt, Romania, Italy, and the Netherlands. Peter McParland, Northern Ireland, Sweden 1958. A year after winning the FA Cup for Aston Villa, McParland's goals got Northern Ireland to the last 8 of the World Cup in 1958. He scored 5 times, including a brace in a 2-2 draw with West Germany. He scored another 2 in a playoff that sent Northern Ireland into the knockout phase. He couldn't get past the French defense, but McParland finished joint 4th in the top scorers list, just 1 goal behind Pelé, who was 17 at the time. From Getty Images. David Platt, England, Italy 1990. Platt was in the middle of 3 successful years with Aston Villa when helped England make it to the semi-finals with his spectacular finish in the last minute of extra time against Belgium. His goal earned him a starting spot for the quarter-finals against Cameroon, where he scored the first goal. He was unlucky when his goal in the semi-final with West Germany was ruled as offside. He scored in the shootout and he scored his 3rd goal of the tournament in the 3rd-place playoff with Italy. Notable others. There have been a number of other Aston Villa players to take part in the World Cup over the years, and we are hoping that the players in Russia 2018 will make a name for themselves too. Here brief overview of some of the Villa players over the years who've taken to the field in a World Cup tournament. Milan Baros, Czech Republic 2006. Tony Cascarino, Ireland 1990. Ulysses Delane, Cruz, Ecuador 2006. Alan Evans, Scotland 1982. Emil Heskey, England 2010. Olof Mellberg, Sweden 2002 and 2006. James Milner, England 2010. Savo Milosevic, Yugoslavia 1998. Gareth Southgate, England 1998. Steve Staunton, Republic of Ireland 1994 and 2002. Andy Townsend, Ireland 1994. Darius Vassell, England 2002. UTV. Check out the latest Moms Podcast episode.